my God. What even episode are we up to? It's not recording yet. What am I doing?
58.
58. That's so many. We are so old. Kate audio. Peek, peek. Bop, bop. Okay, that should work. Now I'm recording for real. I'm here, I promise. It's only taken me 15 minutes to sort my life out.
Hey, Con the Fruiterer, how are you?
I'm not a bad. You come to Con the Fruiterer house. I'm giving you the food.
Shut up in your face.
Shut up in your face. What are you talking about?
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Dom.
Guess what? I'm back.
You're back, and you're better than ever.
From outer space.
And I back.
Took one look at you.
Ding, then I got upset all over the place.
We ruined it.
We always ruin everything. This is why we can't have nice things.
How are you doing, Kate?
I'm really well, thank you. I have 4 more days left of children at school.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 days of adults at school. And then I'm going to go on holidays. Woohoo!
My goodness, all that free time. What are you going to do with all this free time, Kate?
Well, I am going to go and see Billy Joel on the weekend. I know that's not part of the free time, but I don't know if I've even spoken to you, yes, but the audience about my love for Billy Joel.
No one has any idea. So please give us a quick, 30 seconds.
30-second rundown. All you need to know is I have his signature tattooed on my right ass cheek. That's how much I love him. Full stop. I think that's all you need to know. And I'm going to see him at the MCG, the holy grail of facilities. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
How many times have you seen Billy Joel perform live?
This will be the 4th time. Which doesn't sound like many, but I mean the first 2 times was in Melbourne, so he hasn't been to Australia a heck of a lot. So I saw him twice in Melbourne. Then I flew to New York to see him at Madison Square Garden, and now he's coming back to Melbourne, which is great because it's a lot cheaper no, it's not. It was the similar price to fly to New York to see him than the tickets that I bought here in Melbourne. So whatever. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to be joining you on Saturday. Yeah. That's what.
We're so excited. And we started recording this podcast a little bit later because I needed Dom's advice and recommendation on a restaurant to book. So we've done that now. I feel better having booked.
Good. And we get to see the incomparable Tina Arena, who's going to open, which is a bit of a gay legend and icon. She doesn't know it, but sure. Yeah.
That's okay. She doesn't need to know it. She'll feel the love.
She'll feel it.
Tina Arena. What a dream.
I think they should actually rename Margaret Court Arena to Tina Arena.
I don't know how that hasn't been done already. And it has to be Tina Arena. It can't be just Tina Arena. It's Tina Arena.
Oh, God, it would be so good.
Yes, I love it. We're going to have the best time. It's going to be a blast, and it's just going to be such fun, and I cannot wait. And, yeah, it's just going to be the best. But how are you feeling post-trip, Dominic?
I am back in Melbourne, everybody.
Yay.
Hello, good day. You missed me, I know.
I did.
It's great to be home. It was such a great, interesting trip. Lots of reflection and soul-searching and all that great stuff, and the wedding went off without a hitch, except they did get hitched. So no unintentional hitching.
Only intentional hitching occurred on my trip.
Exactly.
Perfect. That's the best kind.
Good to be home, and I'm glad that I could bring some good weather, even though there was no good weather where I was. But
we had summer on a weekend, so we've got to be happy.
Yeah.
The whole summer lasted that weekend.
And now it'll be cold again.
And now it's over.
But, Kate, obviously, while I was away and I had some spare time in between my midlife crisis contemplation stuff.
Perfect. I love that. There's always room for that. There's always time for that.
Exactly. I did do a little research on local tales and stories, because you always hear and find out things once you're in a space, in a place, than just doing research online.
Yeah.
So this week's episode, which you don't have any clue about,
No, I don't.
is called The Mysteries of Ireland.
Ooh, Ireland mysteries.
Yeah, and because, obviously I have a bit of a habit of doing, big stories, intricate stories over 1, 2, maybe 3 episodes, and Kate is obviously a bit on the opposite side.
Oh, I thought you were about to say spectrum, but also that.
She does lots of short little sweet stories. So, Kate, I hope you don't mind, but because you're such a whoa.
I'm a strand tedder. Boop, boop, boop. Come and get my tedders. Ping, ping, ping.
I thought I would take a leaf out of your book and do the same. So I'm going to do 3 little mini stories this week.
I'm so excited. Well, then
Yeah.
that puts the challenge to me where I'll do a, long format story next week.
Cool.
A single story.
If you feel up to it. Only if you feel up to it.
Yeah, I do. I feel very excited.
But quickly, some little housekeeping.
Housekeeping, ding, ding.
It is closely coming up to the end of year.
Yes.
Kate and I don't have any significant plans to take time off, so we should have regular programming. We may pre-record ahead of time so we can actually take a holiday.
Maybe take a break.
Yeah. But you will still definitely hear from us. We do have an exciting special episode coming up in the works. We may even have a special guest joining for that episode. So I don't want to spoil too much about that. But the usual, please go check out our socials for all the great, amazing content that Kate's been doing recently.
Yippee.
Hurrah to you, Kate. It's so much fun.
But also, Dom, you kill it. You're just, what a team.
Yeah, we're doing a great job. So go interact.
Yeah.
And there's also our Patreon, of course, just for a few dollars a month. You can make sure Kate and I have lights to turn on and makeup for our pretty faces and someone to, do massages. And,
I like to have a feet rubs every now and then.
Exactly.
So I'm happy with that.
So keep checking us out there and sign up. And this week, we're going to feature BooPod Network's Spilling the Crime.
Spill it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of them before, but we've featured them once before, but they're hilarious. And I believe they're in Portugal. I keep on forgetting where they're based.
Okay, I can look it up while you chat.
Yeah, but they're really funny, and they do some really big name feature stories and stuff that you'd see a lot of their stuff on Netflix specials and things like that, but they always come at it from a totally different lens. They always do extra research. So stuff that you've never heard of before about these very famous stories, you may have seen it on Netflix. You might want to go tune into their podcast because you'll find out even more.
And you are right. The page has taken me to Portugal.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. It is Humberto Melo and Jonas Grancha. How cool.
And they're so cute. They're not
God,
easy on
cutest.
the eyes.
Oh, yeah. I was just looking at their picky sweet boys.
So anyway, here is their trailer. Boop,
boop,
beep,
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 boop,
boop,
beep, boop.
All right, Kate. Let's get down to business, shall we?
And defeat the Huns?
Oh my God, yeah, why not? Mulan me up, babe.
Mulan me, please.
Oh, what was that funny saying, actually? She's like...
Dishonor on you, dishonor
on your cow.
How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you.
Whoa, Bessie. Oh, goodness. Eddie Murphy, icon. Problematic, but icon.
Sure. Yeah, but
Okay.
that sums us up as well.
I know. True.
Problematic icons. That's our new merch for the week.
Yes, put that on our tombstones. So, Kate.
Hello.
These are some of the maybe lesser known mysteries, unsolved mysteries of Ireland.
Ireland. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you know what the Irish say. It is important to be sure, to be sure.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, great. I've got some tales, by the way, from that trip,
Oh.
which probably are not appropriate for a publication such as
Oh, I
ours.
love it. I want to hear.
I'll tell you at Elton John.
Okay, wait. Are we Are we going to Elton John too? Or just
Oh my
Billy Joel?
I told an Elton John story, and that's why I went to Elton John.
Are we going to Elton John as well? Is this a surprise?
No, I have an R-rated story to tell of Elton
Amazing.
John, but we're
Oh,
not going
okay.
to that. We're
Ooh.
going,
We're going to Billy Joel, but you'll tell me about Elton John at Billy Joel.
yeah, at the Eric Clapton.
With Tina Turner, right? Is she going to be there?
And there's
Perfect.
so funny. There's people listening to this that probably don't know who
What?
any of these
What are you
people are.
talking about? Yeah, that's all right. We enjoy our company. That's good.
That's all. Billy Joel. Okay.
Yeah.
So story number 1.
It's not about Billy Joel, though.
No.
Okay, just to be sure.
To be sure. To be sure. Okay. Here we go. Story 1.
Okay.
Aer Lingus flight 712 crashed en route from Cork, where I was staying, Cork to London on the 24th of March 1968, killing all 61 passengers and crew. The aircraft, a Vickers Viscount 803 named St. Phelim, crashed into the sea off Tuskar Rock, County Wexford.
Okay.
Now, Aer Lingus still uses this flight number for, this is like a added tidbit, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And we've done a whole lot of plane crashes before, but you may not know
have.
this. But Aer Lingus still uses this flight number for a daily flight from Cork to London Heathrow, contrary to airline convention of discontinuing a flight number following a crash.
Ooh, that is a good plain tidbit.
I did not know that they discontinued it, which is
like
fantastic. But
retiring a number of a football player who's been super special.
sure,
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's a good honour to it's such a terrible thing. Now this current route is operated with an aircraft from the Airbus A320 family. If you're a plane,
A plane fan.
aficionado.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the flight left Cork Airport at 10:32 hours for London. The flight proceeded normally until a call was heard with the probable contents saying 12,000 feet descending, spinning rapidly.
Oh, spinning sounds bad.
Yeah, it's not a great.
It's not a good feature of a flight is to spin. I don't want to be spinning.
Just put on the seatbelt sign, folks, because we're now descending in a very rapid spinning motion.
In a rapid spin.
Yeah. Now, there was no further communications with the aircraft, and London ATC informed Shannon ATC that they had no radio contact via the radio. Now, London ATC requested the Aer Lingus flight EI or EL 362. It was flying from Dublin to Bristol to search west of their current position to see whether they could see anything.
So they've gone out to see if they can see any planes just doing doughies in the air.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, this search was at 500 feet, only 150 meters, in good visibility, and they saw nothing.
Oh.
At 11:25, a full alert was declared, and by 12:36, there was a report of wreckage sighted at position, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to get out your fucking compass, are you?
No, I've left my compass in my other bag, so I probably Lizzie Truss borrowed it. Don't. She's in the.
We've sent her off.
She's in the foyer. We've sent her off. She ran out of Scotch fingers.
She only does copy runs if she give her compass coordinates. She's a traditionalist.
She can't help it. Oh, Lizzie. What a terror. Okay.
She does host her own like Brown Scouts or whatever.
Brown Scouts. Brown Scouts. Yeah, just Scouts. There's no colour ones. A girl
What are
guide.
they called? Brown birds or something?
What's a brown? I don't know. But now
She's
I
the
like
dead
brown
mother.
skin.
A dead mother for the Brown Scouts.
Ah, oh my God. That's our new political party. The Brown Scouts.
My goodness, this is getting so
Sorry.
intricate. This
I love it.
waiting room.
There's so many layers. There's so many layers. So many people out there. It's crazy.
We have to keep adding to it.
I'm so glad that Lizzie's got it under control though. When she's back with her compass, we'll be all over it. Oh.
Okay. Now, searching aircraft found nothing, and the report was actually cancelled. Aircraft and ships resumed the search the following day, and wreckage was again sighted and bodies were recovered. It was 6 nautical miles northeast of Tuskar Rock, with more wreckage scattered for a further 6 nautical miles northwest.
Okay, so they originally went to go and look for the plane and they couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So they cancelled that initial, we're going to go and look for it. But then ships and stuff were looking and they were like, hey, it's in the ocean. We see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, 13 bodies were recovered over the next few days. Another body was recovered later, and the main wreckage was located on the seabed by trawling 1.72 nautical miles, or just over 3 kilometers, from Tuskar Rock at 39 fathoms.
Oh, 39 fathoms.
Now, the aircraft was a Vickers Viscount 803, which flew under tail number EIAOM and had been in service since 1957, with a total of 18,800 lifetime flight hours. So she'd put in a good...
She's put in the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Aer Lingus operated approximately 20 Viscount aircraft in the 50s and 60s, of which 2 others were involved in serious incidents.
Oh, bad rap.
Well, not as bad as last week's airplane.
Yes, which was 35% of all of them that were made crashed.
Yeah. This one was
Whoopsie.
like a Frankenstein version of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, the year before the Tuskar Rock crash in June 67, an 803 Viscount on a training flight crashed due to a stall, with a loss of 3 crew lives.
Okay.
Also in 67, in September, an 808 Viscount was damaged beyond repair during a crash landing due to pilot error in fog, and that caused no serious casualties.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah. Now, the crew of that plane, Flight 712, included Captain Bernard O'Byrne, 35, who had joined Aer Lingus after 3 years in the Air Corps. His total flying time was just under 7,000 hours, 1,600 of them on Viscount. So he knew what he was about.
Yeah, he's like, I've got this under control. I've flown this puppy before.
Yep. He was endorsed for command on Viscount aircraft and passed the medical in January in 68. And the first offer was Paul Heffernan, 22, so young, my goodness.
That's young.
Who had training with Airwork Services training at Perth and joined Aer Lingus in 1966. That year, he received an Irish commercial pilot's license with Viscount endorsement and instrument rating. His total flying time was only 1,100 hours, of which 900 was on Viscounts. And the 2 stewardesses on board were Anne Kelly and Mary Coughlin.
How many hours does it take to be a pro at something? 10,000? Don't they say? If you practice something like a certain number of times?
I've heard that, 10,000, but I don't know if it applies to
10,000.
pilots.
Okay, just checking. But that's a lot of hours. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
Not his first time.
Yeah, no, not his first rodeo.
Now, all 61 of the persons aboard the aircraft died. In total, only 14 bodies were ever recovered from the St. George's Channel following the crash. Now, what the hell happened?
Please tell me.
Now, investigation report was produced in 1970, and then a further review was undertaken between 1998 and 2000, and an independent study was commissioned in 2000. Now, why so many investigations?
I was about to say, and why so long?
Here we go.
Woo! Scandal.
Now, a scandal.
A scandal. I just keep thinking of the Brown Scouts. Okay.
Ugh, okay. Now, of the several reports issued on the potential causes of the crash, several causes were proposed. These included possible bird strikes,
Mm-hmm.
very common,
Yep.
corrosion or similar structural failure, it is
Okay.
an old plane,
Yeah.
or collision with a target, drone, or missile.
Oh, okay.
Now, the later causes were based on the proximity to Aberporth in West Wales, at the time the most advanced missile testing station in Britain.
Oh.
In the years following the crash, several witnesses came forward in support of the missile theory. These include a crew member of the British ship HMAS Penelope, who alleged that part of the recovered wreckage was removed to the UK.
Oh, so they're like, we have to hide this bit that has a giant missile hole in the side of it.
It's like the red target sign. Hit here.
Yeah. This is like a missile hole, or the bits that were burned or whatever. It's like, let's take those parts back to the UK.
Now, however, though, in 2002, a review process conducted by the AAIU, Air Incident Investigation Unit, disclosed that Aer Lingus paperwork relating to a routine maintenance inspection carried out on the aircraft in December 67 was found to be missing. Why?
Oh, why?
Now, moreover, a large body of research was done by the investigators after the accident regarding the maintenance operating plan used for that plane and defects on the aircraft found during analysis of the maintenance records. This research was not referred to in the 1970 original report. Now, a new board of investigation was set up by the Irish government and found that the crash was likely the consequence of a chain of events starting with a failure to the left tail plane caused by metal fatigue, corrosion, flutter, or a bird strike, with the most likely cause being a flutter-induced fatigue failure of the elevator trim tab operating mechanism. So,
yeah. The flapper waps up the back. They go, weeble, weeble. Yeah.
Now, in March 2007, retired RAF squadron leader Eric Evers made an unsupported claim that the accident was caused by a mid-air collision between the Aer Lingus Vickers Viscount and a French-built military aircraft which was training with the Irish Air Corps.
Ooh.
Now, Evers maintained that he had evidence that a Fouga Magister trainer accidentally collided with the Aer Lingus aircraft as it was checking the status of the Viscount's undercarriage. Now, he claimed that had failed to lock in position correctly. So supposedly another plane is nearby checking the undercarriage of Aer Lingus.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Now, according to Evers, the Magister's two pilots survived by ejecting and parachuting to safety. However, Magistars do not have ejector seats. So, Evers, where are you coming up with this?
Come on, Evers, that puts a bit of a hole in your theory.
Now, Evers's claims, including that the French and Irish authorities colluded in a cover-up, have been strongly refuted by other commentators. For example, Mike Reynolds, an aviator and author of Tragedy at Tuskar Rock, disputed Evers's claim and supports the findings of the 2002 French-Australian investigation, which ruled out any impact with another aircraft or missile. Now, this study, on which Reynolds worked as an Irish assistant, concluded that the cause may have been as a result of structural failure of the aircraft, blah, 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 blah. And an Irish Defence Forces spokesman similarly described the Evers claims as spurious, noting that there was no evidence that an Irish Air Corps plane was in the vicinity at the time and that Magistars did not actually enter service with the Irish Air Corps until 1976, 8 years later.
Oh.
Okay.
Evers was wrong.
Still a little bit of a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Now, a memorial park was opened in August 2006 in the centre of Rosslare Harbour Village. It was organised and paid for by the local Rosslare Harbour Kilrain Environment Group, who spent £90,000, consisting of two amounts from each of the Wexford Organisation for Rural Development and the Wexford County Council.
Good on you, Wexford.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the first tale.
Okay.
I know it's not big and exciting, but it's one of
No,
those mysteries that no one's ever fully been able to.
it's intriguing.
Yeah,
I like it.
and
I'm
there's a
here for it.
few different potential,
Yes, that's what we want.
But I liked it because I was flying out of Cork, and I actually did. I was meant to be flying from Cork to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to somewhere or wherever, I can't remember, to Berlin. But
Okay.
my flight got cancelled, and I got put on the Cork to London flight.
Stop it.
So I
You
was
were on
on
that
the.
one.
I was on it, so it was quite unusual and kind of cool. But I was on the
That is so
the
cool.
modern version of it.
Yeah, that's right. You went on like a prop plane
No,
that you had to run down the runway with your friends.
pitter patter,
Like
pitter
Frank
patter,
Pitter-
Fred
like
Flintstone.
the Flintstones, yeah.
All right, and I also picked it because you did such a great job last week of plane crashes and survivors and stuff. So anyway,
Yes. Thank you.
story number 2.
DOS.
Now, the Peter Bergman case pertains to the mysterious death of an unidentified man in Sligo County, Ireland, on or around the 16th of June 2009.
Okay.
So it ain't that long ago.
No.
Now, the man using the alias Peter Bergman had checked into the Sligo City Hotel on the 12th of June, where he stayed during the majority of his visit to Sligo. The man's movements were captured on CCTV. You can go online and see it. It's really quite eerie.
Okay.
Throughout the town. However, the details of his actions and intentions remain unknown. His interactions with other people were limited, and little is known of his origins or the reason for his visit. Is this sounding familiar, Kate?
It is.
Yeah,
It
this
does
is
sound
like their
familiar.
own
Yeah.
version of the oh my god, I've forgotten the Somerton Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Or the
Somerton
Isdale
Man.
Woman.
Oh.
So,
Also, really good episodes that we have. You should go and listen to.
yeah, go back and check them out. Now, on the morning of the 16th of June, the body of the unidentified man was discovered at Ross's Point Beach, a popular recreation destination and fishing area near Sligo. Despite conducting a 5-month investigation into his death, the Gardaí have never been able to identify the man or develop any leads in the case. The mystery is often compared to the Taman Shud case, or Somerton Man in Australia, in which an unidentified man was found dead on a beach shortly after the Second World War. It is no longer a mystery, folks. Go listen to the 2-part episode if you want to know what happened.
That's right.
Now, this case remains obscure to the public, and the official investigation is not extended to outside of Ireland, which is really bizarre because Somerton Man was such an international case. They got help from so many people.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Now, the case received renewed attention in the 2010s. It was the subject of a 2013 documentary, The Last Days of Peter Bergman, which was shown at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival and has developed a small following on social media websites such as Reddit, where readers have constructed theories of the case. So let's get into the details.
Please. I love a Reddit detective as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if we could solve the Somerton Man, you should definitely be able to solve this one.
Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you.
Now, let's go back in time and just follow his little trip, shall we?
Okay.
On Friday, the 12th of June, the man was first spotted at the Ulster bus depot in Derry between 2:30 and 4 o'clock local time.
You said cock.
Cock. He boarded a bus headed to Sligo County, Sligo, carrying a black shoulder bag and a standard carry-on luggage. He arrived at 6:30 at Sligo bus station and took a taxi to the city hotel, where he paid per night in cash.
Okay.
While checking in, he gave the false name of Peter Bergman and an address that was later reported as, I can't even read that. It was in Vienna, Austria.
Okay.
Now, he called himself Peter Bergman. He had a slender build. He stood 5 foot 10 inches. He was tall, short, grey hair, blue eyes, tan complexion, and appeared to be in his late 50s or early 60s. According to staff and tenants at the City Hotel, the man was of Germanic descent and spoke English with a thick German accent. He was neatly groomed, his face was shaven, and his hair was clean and combed. The man was well dressed, wearing a black leather jacket, blue trousers, socks, a black leather belt, and a pair of black shoes, size 44, which is my size.
Ooh.
His clothes were from C&A, a popular fashion retail store in Europe, with most of its stores in Germany and Austria. And from the man's appearance, it was assumed he was a professional worker.
Okay.
He
I love
was.
that. A professional worker.
Yeah.
That's my job. What do you do? I'm a professional worker. Oh, cool. In what industry? Work. I work in the work industry.
Kate and I are unprofessional workers.
We are. Oh my God, without a shadow of a doubt. My whole staff room could testify to that.
Now, it was also noted he was a frequent smoker, and several surveillance videos show him smoking outside often. Now, during his stay at the hotel, the man was seen on CCTV footage leaving the building with a purple plastic bag full of items or personal effects. However, when he returned from his long walk, he was no longer carrying the bag. It is presumed that he had disposed of his belongings, threw out Sligo, and then folded the bag and put it in his pocket. Authorities were unable to identify what he threw away in the public rubbish bins, as the man used the blind spots of the surveillance cameras to his advantage. His movements were very meticulous and methodical, as if he knew where to hide his personal belongings that could have identified him. Now, on Saturday, the 13th of June, the man was seen walking to Sligo Post Office at 10:50 in the morning and purchased 8 82-cent stamps and airmail stickers.
That sounds like 82-cent stamps. Doesn't sound like much.
Yeah.
Okay.
The following day, the man left the hotel between 11 and 11:30 and asked a taxi driver recommendations for a nice quiet beach where he could swim.
Oh.
Now, the taxi driver stated that Ross's Point would be the best place and proceeded to drive the unidentified man to the beach. The man then returned with the same taxi and was dropped off at the bus station in Sligo. So, fast forward a bit. On Monday, the 15th of June, the man checked out of the hotel at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and handed in his room key. He left with a black shoulder bag, a purple plastic bag, and a different black luggage bag. He did not have the same black carry-on luggage bag he had when he first arrived in Sligo. He walked to the bus station via Quay Street and Wine Street, then stopped at Quayside Shopping Centre and awkwardly waited in the doorway for a number of minutes. It's reminding me of the Cecil Hotel, that very
that's what
strange.
I'm getting like the combo of Somerton Man and Cecil Hotel, like this weird. As soon as you said CCTV, I was like Cecil Hotel. And then you're saying he wants to go to a beach, what's to lie down and die and be discovered as the Somerton Man? This is crazy.
Yeah. Now, about 1:15, he left the shopping centre and walked along Wine Street in the direction of the bus station, still carrying all 3 bags. At about 2:50, he ordered a cappuccino and a toasted ham and cheese sandwich at the bus station.
Delicious.
Classic.
Yeah.
While eating his food, he looked at pieces of paper that he kept in his pocket. After reading the pieces of paper, he tore the paper in half and threw it away in a nearby rubbish bin. He then mounted a bus that departed at... mounted a bus. Hello. Talk dirty to me.
Absolutely. Good for you.
Liz Truss is fanning herself in the waiting room.
Oh, Lizzie. She is back. Hi, doll. No, pop the compass on the table. No, Lizzie, Oh, she's gone again. Oh, yeah. Bless. All right.
She looks a bit flustered.
She's out of here.
All right. So old man mounted a bus that departed at 2:20 for Ross's Point, the beach. It was reported that he was seen by 16 people while walking on the beach, casually greeting the passerbys.
Okay.
The following morning, Tuesday, 16th of June, Arthur Kinsella and his son Brian, who were training for a triathlon, found the man's body lying on the beach at 6:45 in the morning. He was wearing purple striped Speedo-type swimming trunks with his underpants over the top and a navy T-shirt tucked into them.
Oh, what a
Quite
look.
a look.
Yeah, what an absolute vibe.
There is never a need to tuck anything other than your jibbly bits into a pair of Speedos.
Balls, correct. Tuck your penis, your balls, or whatever you're packing. Maybe it's your vagina. Maybe it's a combo. Whatever you want. Tuck that into your speeds, but you don't need to pop a T-shirt in there.
No.
Nah.
Now, Arthur and Brian said the Lord's Prayer for the man and then called the Gardai.
For the fashion choices? Or Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Please untuck your T-shirt from your Speedos.
Now, Dr. Valerie McGowan officially pronounced the man dead, and following the discovery of the man's body, a 5-month investigation into his identity was conducted. Which, to be perfectly honest, if it's still not solved, why don't we crack that one back open?
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
I'll give it a go.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Kate
give
and
it
I
to
can
us.
probably do a better job.
Give it to us. We will absolutely give it a go.
Now, according to the post-mortem report, we love these, the body of the man was found on Roses Point Beach with most of his clothes left behind on the shore. Not his Speedo or T-shirt, that's for sure. Now, there was no wallet, money, or form of identification. Even though the man had been washed up on the beach, Sligo medical examiner Clive Kilgallen found no evidence of classical saltwater drowning.
Oh, classical. That is a classical saltwater drowning.
But there was also no signs of foul play that would give reason to believe the man's death was a homicide. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't believe it. But anyway.
The man's teeth were in good condition and showed signs of frequent dental work in his life. He had bridging, root canals, crowns, and a full gold tooth on the upper right back side of his mouth and a small silver filling along the gum of a tooth on the left side of the lower jaw.
Wow, he's had loads of dental work.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say he had good
healthy
teeth.
Yeah, they're all fake.
Yeah.
They just removed the shitty ones and put in gold and silver.
You're looking for money, that's where he kept it. Now, despite his well-groomed and dressed exterior, the man was in very poor health. The post-mortem showed that he had advanced stages of prostate cancer and bone tumours. His heart showed signs of previous ischemic heart disease. And notably for a man who had serious health conditions, the toxicology report stated that he had no medication of any sort in his system.
Right.
The medical examiner noted that due to his heart attacks and health status, the man would have been in significant pain and would have required prescription pain medicine or at least over-the-counter pain relievers. After a 5-month investigation, the body was buried in Sligo. The funeral was attended by 4 Gardai.
Okay.
If you don't know what Gardai is, it's like local
police.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some sources say that during the police investigation following his death, it was discovered that the address he gave at the hotel belonged to a vacant lot. However, others have pointed out that a street with a reported spelling of a different spelling does not exist in Austria or Germany. Additionally, Vienna postcodes begin with the number 1 rather than 4, and the postcode was 4472. It's totally unassigned, so it doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Okay.
Now, it is unclear how police would have been able to establish that the fake address was tied to a vacant lot, or whether they simply determined that it did not exist. What is certain is that the man wanted to remain unknown, and he preemptively planned his moves so that he could not be identified. Because my original thought was someone who's sick and unwell, or maybe someone that has Alzheimer's or elderly and wants to be left alone. Not that he's elderly in 50s and 60s, but there was premeditated sort of actions he took to hide himself.
Yeah, okay. So he's not, no, I hear that. Yep, he's not wanting to be Found?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think on that one.
Couldn't think of the word.
Mm. Now, in 2015, the French newspaper Le Monde reported that they had contacted Austrian police about the case, and the Austrian police commented that the Gardaí had never contacted them. Now, Le Monde also reported that there is no Interpol notice for the unidentified man because the body did not fall into either of the two Interpol categories for missing person and a wanted person.
Oh, so it doesn't matter if it's a dead person?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not in the category. I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. Were they missing before they died? No. Oh, can't help you.
Yep. Interesting. And it is the responsibility of the man's country of origin to report him as missing. But because there's no identification and because the address he left
was false.
Yeah, nobody's wanting to.
Doesn't make sense. Okay.
Now, as of June this year, the man is still identified. There are no relatives, friends, or witnesses have come forward, despite public appeals in Austrian and German newspapers. While Sligo police retained the man's DNA, a spokesperson said the DNA analysis could only narrow down the area the man might have been from, but not identify him.
Oh.
You know, as we know from Somerton, man, they can do such wonderful things with bones and teeth and mapping where someone may have come from by isotopes in their blood and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But it's really quite fascinating because it's such a relatively recent story.
Yeah, that's right. We're not talking about something in the 50s.
Yeah, you can see some very, very clear and graphic photos of his face, his body, or everything. So someone knows this man. And I reckon if they put it on Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, they might actually get something.
They might find something.
But I am truly obsessed with these stories. Isdale woman, Somerton man, and now Peter Bergman. It's just, and some of the similarities too. It's just strange.
We're going to have to find a way for us to go that way. We'll plan that. And then I'll never tell. And you never tell.
Yep.
And none of our listeners ever tell because you've just heard that now. Don't say anything.
Podcast in the future will be a story that's featured.
Yes. How cool.
All right. So that's the end of story number 2. Stay tuned, folks, because it is such a recent story. If there's ever any updates, I will gladly
we will do it. Absolutely.
It. There's so much more to the story, but I'm just like,
cool. Yeah. It's a nice little rundown.
Lucky last.
Last
Save
but
the
not
best
least.
for last. Almost.
Absolutely.
Story number 3. Ireland's vanishing triangle.
Oh.
I hope everyone's picking up on the threads that I'm pulling through here. Flights from Kate's previous story, Somerton man with the last one, and then we did a special recently, didn't we, Kate, on the Bridgewater Triangle? So,
oh my God, that's so weird. I can't believe it. Also, I've picked up on a theme. They're in Ireland.
Ireland. Grand. How grand.
How grand.
Now, Ireland's vanishing triangle is a term commonly used. I'm sorry, but I just went to such a dirty place there. I'm like, what would you call
the triangle? Yeah.
Yeah. You could totally,
it's a fanny.
Anyway.
Okay.
Is a term commonly used in the Irish media when referring to a number of high-profile disappearances of Irish women in the mid to late 1990s.
Ooh.
Now, the vanishing triangle disappearances all appeared to share common characteristics. The women's ages range from late teens to late 30s. They disappeared inexplicably and suddenly, and no substantial clues or evidence of their fate has ever been found despite large-scale searches and campaigns by the Irish police force to find them. The triangle is in the eastern part of the island, Ireland, roughly the boundaries of Leinster, which it's just a region if you look at a map.
Mm-hmm.
Due to similarities in the cases, a popular hypothesis is that they may be the result of a serial killer or killers being active in the area during this period. The cases of these missing women feature in the Irish media periodically, and the disappearances have been the subject in a number of unsolved crime documentaries. All right, let's get to it. The missing women. The following women are usually included in the unofficial listing. Annie McCarrick, 26, of Long Island, New York. She went missing on the 26th of March, 1993. She was living in Sandymount, Dublin, and the last confirmed sighting of her was at the post office in Enniskerry, Wicklow. And however, there was an unconfirmed sighting of her outside Johnny Fox's pub in Glencullen in Dublin. This sighting was by a doorman of the pub who said she was with an unknown man.
Ooh, suspicious.
They left the lounge of Johnny Fox's pub and entered the cabaret room where the unknown man paid for both of them to enter. McCarrick had invited her friend Hilary Brady and his girlfriend Rita Fortune, great name.
That sounds like a pretend name.
Yep. They'd invited them to dinner at her apartment the next day, and when McCarrick was not there, they contacted her parents in New York and she was reported missing. McCarrick's parents, John and Nancy, arrived in Ireland shortly after their daughter was reported missing, but left after a 6-month-long unsuccessful search.
Oh.
Number 2, Eva Bredin, she was 39, of Rathgar, Dublin, went missing on the 25th of July, 1993. Number 3, Imelda Keenan, 22, of Mount Mellick. She went missing on the 3rd of January, 94. She was living in Waterford City, Waterford. I was just near there, and she had initially gone to stay with one of her brothers in Cobb in Cork, obviously where I was staying, but left it after a short while when she went to stay with 2 brothers in Waterford City. She was living with her boyfriend, Mark Wall. They both lived in an apartment in the town on William Street, and Keenan attended the Central Technical Institute in Waterford, where she undertook a computer course for a short period. Now, Keenan told Wall that she was going to the post office. Keenan left the apartment at 1:30 and walked down William Street onto Lombard Street. It's so weird hearing these streets because I've been there.
Yeah.
The last confirmed sighting of Keenan at this time when she was seen crossing the road by a local doctor's secretary who knew her well. The secretary and a friend observed Keenan crossing the road at the corner of the Tower Hotel on Lombard Street, and she was never seen again. Number 4, Josephine, Jojo Dullard. That was her nickname, Jojo. She was 21, of Callan, Kilkenny. She went missing on 9th of November, 95. She was living in Harold's Cross, Dublin. She had recently dropped out of a beauty therapy course after finding it very difficult to juggle work and college.
She's a beauty school dropout. She should go back to high school.
Now, on the day she disappeared, she was planning on moving home to Callan. She had missed her bus home and had to take a bus to Nars Kildare instead. She disappeared in the Moon area of Kildare. She was hitchhiking home.
Silly Billy.
From Dublin to Kilkenny. She had been driven from Dublin area to Kilcullen and then from Kilcullen to Moon. She was last seen using a payphone, and through telephone records, police found out the call was made at 11:37 p.m. to Dullard's friend Mary Cullinan. She ended the call as she was about to enter another car. There was also an unconfirmed sighting of her walking along the road in Kildare, and the driver of the car has never been identified. See, that's just spooky, right? If you had picked someone up as a hitchhiker and all this stuff was going on, you would let them know. You'd be like, hey, anyone in the area pick someone up? It's strange that this person didn't come forward.
No, that's right.
Number 5, Fiona Pender. She was 25, of Tullamore, Offaly. She went missing on the 23rd of August, 96. She was last seen leaving her apartment by her boyfriend, John Thompson. Pender was 7 months pregnant at the time of her disappearance. In 2008, a small wooden cross bearing the name Fiona Pender was found on the Sleeve Bloom Way at the border between Leigh and Offaly, which led to the belief that Fiona was buried in the Sleeve Bloom Mountains.
Oh my God, imagine that. Imagine finding that cross.
Yeah.
Blech.
All those years later.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Kira Breen, 17, of Dundalk, Louth. She went missing on the 13th of Feb 97. She was last seen by her mother, Bernadette, who said at the time they had both gone to bed just after midnight. After 2 a.m., Bernadette got up to go to the toilet and discovered she was missing. She had left a window on the latch, and it is believed she did so that she could climb back in. In 2014, 2 credible witnesses came forward with sightings of Kira from the night she disappeared in 2015. And a man in his 50s was arrested but released without charge. Number 6, Fiona Sinnott, 19, of Rosslare, Wexford. She went missing on the 8th of Feb, 98. And last but not least, number 8, Deirdre Jacob, 18th, of Newbridge, Kildare. She went missing on the 28th of July, 98. She was living in Twickenham, London, and studying at St Mary's University, but was home for the summer. She disappeared just yards from her parents' home as she walked home. This particular case is often said to be the most puzzling, as Jacob was almost home.
Yeah.
So passing motorists witnessed Jacob approaching within yards of her parents' driveway, as well as numerous other sightings, but she never made it to her house. No trace has ever been found, and she was never seen again.
My God.
Now, the last disappearance to be included on the list was Sinnott in 98. Since then, no case of disappearances has been of a nature so unexplained and random as to be added to the list. A convicted rapist, Larry Murphy, had been suspected of being responsible for the disappearances of Annie McCarrick, Jojo Dullard, and Deirdre Jacob, all of whom vanished close to the area where Murphy lived at the time. Now, Eva Brennan and Fiona Pender have also been linked to the murders of Antoinette Smith and Patricia Doherty. Smith was a 27-year-old separated mother of 2. She went missing in July 1987. Her body was discovered the following June in a shallow grave at Killarkey in the foothills of the Dublin Mountains. And Doherty, aged 34, disappeared while shopping on the 23rd of December in 91. Now, in June 92, her remains were found by men digging turf in the same area of the Dublin Mountains. Although it is possible that a serial killer may have been involved in some of the disappearances, the suspect in Fiona Sinnott's case is a man who was well known to her.
Ooh.
Now, the disappearances came to an end by the end of 2000, but in late October 2012, there was renewed interest in the unofficial list of missing women when news broke of a 30-year-old pregnant lay woman named Effie Phelan, who inexplicably, I ever say that with that word, inexplicably,
yeah,
inexplicably disappeared as she walked home from the house of a friend. Her remains were later found, and a 24-year-old man was known to her, has been charged with the murder. He's too young to have been connected with the other cases, which occurred when he would have been aged 5 to 10.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Possible explanations. Now, it is widely suspected that at least some, if not all, of the disappearances were due to a possible serial killer acting either alone or with an accomplice in the Leinster area in the 90s. Now, Irish police have often claimed old mate Larry Murphy, who was a native of Bolton Glass, a village well within the triangle, is the main suspect in at least some of the cases.
He's a suspect.
Now, Murphy was convicted and imprisoned in 2001 for the rape and attempted murder of a Carlisle businesswoman in 2000. He was attempting to strangle her in a wooded area of the Wicklow Mountains at night when he was surprised by 2 hunters who happened upon the scene and intervened, saving the woman. Now, Larry Murphy has maintained that he is unconnected with the disappearances and has been questioned on the cases on numerous occasions by the police. To date, there is still no solid evidence connecting Murphy with the disappearances. It is widely known, though, that Murphy, a carpenter, had completed some work in a shop owned by Mrs. Jacob's grandmother.
Ooh.
And that, folks, is the very end of my 3 mini Ireland mysteries.
Little mini Irish. To be sure, to be sure.
To be sure.
Thank you, Dom. That was so fun. It was so cool to do a little bit of a different format. It was cool.
Yeah, I've never done it that way before. You got to try and just get in the highlights because there's so much to do and say about all of these.
It's very hard sometimes to leave out bits and pieces, but you did a really good job. Well done.
Thank you. What do we got to look forward to next week, Kate?
That's a good question. I think I might tell a story, and I think it will maybe be about something that's a bit scary, and that's about all for now.
Sounds good. I like it.
I'm looking forward to it, but I cannot wait for then. And I love you, and I love our listeners, and thank you for telling us your stories.
No worries. All right, folks, don't forget to check out our socials, check out our Patreon.
Yeah. Lizzie will be sad if you don't sign up. She sits out there and stares at the computer. That's her job. That's all we pay her for.
Knock, knock, knock. She's going on another mission, folks.
She will. She'll go on an adventure because we gave her a compass for her birthday and she's been off chops ever since.
She's so cute, though. She's
so
just ever since she's left office, she's just looking for a friend.
She really is. And she's a good tea lady, I'll be honest. She's a really good tea lady out there in our foyer. So welcome all our guests. Can I say actually who I want to welcome to our show today that you said at some point during this podcast? I would like to welcome the word moreover. You used moreover at one point, and straight away I was like, that's a buzzword and I love it. It's my favorite word of this episode, moreover. And also Aer Lingus, it just made me think of cunnilingus.
I know.
Every time. That's all I thought. And I managed to hold it together, but I can't anymore. So I'm sorry.
We said all the dirty words this episode.
Yay. Have a good time and a good life, everyone. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. I love you.